Welcome to the Business Wilderness. My name is Ahmed Al-Houli, and alongside me today is Mr. Adam Stone from Speedlancer. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Adam, let's go back a few years. Where did it all start for you?
So I've always been an entrepreneur, actually.
Yeah.
I started my first business when I was 12, selling BB guns on eBay.
Wow.
out of our garage in the US.
Yeah.
Put it all under my dad's name, so barely legal. Yeah.
Still legit.
Still legit, yeah.
Yeah.
Legit enough.
Yeah, works.
Yeah, except when I brought them to school, but we won't go into that. I was selling them on eBay. That was a good little business. But then we moved back to Australia when I was 14. I had to sell all the inventory, not legal here, you know. I do have moral standards.
Yeah, good to
and that's when I started my last business when I was 14. That was in the e-commerce space, helping people unlock their mobile phones. So if your phone is with one network and you want to take it overseas, you could go through us. That one scaled to over 100,000 customers actually around the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I just thought you build a good product. We were reselling. I just thought you create a good product and people come, but turns out that's not how business actually works. I just got pretty damn lucky. We did really well with SEO.
Yeah.
We were number one on Google for every single search term.
What year was that?
Started in 2009.
When the internet still had a bit of hope.
Yes.
Wasn't destroyed by marketers.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google works well for you if it works well.
Absolutely.
But they have the full control, so, I don't know. Yeah. We got pretty lucky. So we did pretty well, but I outsourced it all. So I was in high school and then uni. We'd scored an enterprise client as well, Telco in Canada. So our software was in 160 retail stores there. But I outsourced it all. So I had a 10-minute work week for myself.
Beautiful.
People in the Philippines, India.
Yeah.
Someone in, I think, Peru, actually, doing video stuff. We had over 2 million views on the YouTube channel.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, all SEO kind of organic stuff. Never paid
Video
a
is
cent.
amazing for SEO.
Yeah, it was.
Google loves it. Yeah.
So we did that in 2011, I think.
Yeah.
Started doing video. That contributed to a lot of traffic, and also SEO rankings went up because of that. Yeah, and that's when I decided to take my expertise, I suppose, in outsourcing and freelancing. I spent a lot of money on Upwork and Fiverr and Freelancer and 99 Designs, everything. And I just realised how flawed the experience is. If you want to hire someone full-time and you want to manage them, you have to go through a whole recruiting process, you have to interview them. Yeah. You may as well be hiring a $200,000 a year employee.
Absolutely.
But you're just not. You just want your content done for the month. Do you really need to vet everyone that well? No. So that's when I started Speedlancer, which is a freelancing platform where you don't need to recruit anyone. We recruit everyone for you, so you don't have to. We make them all available on demand. So instant access to amazing freelancers. We've got writers from Oprah Winfrey's network, Inc., The Guardian, Huffington Post, Bloomberg, Wired, VentureBeat, top publications, designers, creative directors around the world. And what we do is we assemble them all into a workflow. So it's a patent pending process, actually, where you can have a designer, a writer, a researcher, even a developer, all working together in the one campaign. So that's Speedlancer. It's speed from start to finish, end to end.
It's extremely convenient. I personally use it, and it goes a long way for me.
Glad to hear it. You have to give me some feedback afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's basically my story with Speedlancer. I've been through 500 startups in the US, in San Francisco. We've raised money from venture capital funds like MacDoc Ventures in Sydney, Murdoch's Venture Fund, and a number of other angel investors. But my previous business was totally bootstrapped, and that was actually still bigger than this one is now.
Wow.
So, fundraising versus bootstrapping, I think if you're raising, you probably need it, which may not be a good thing, but I think with Speedlancer, A, we need it, but B, I think it's got massive growth potential. So that's why raising money instead of bootstrapping for us.
Bit of a journey.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been a bit of a journey. Yeah. So, you said you've always been an entrepreneur. There's many aspiring entrepreneurs out there who are looking to do the same thing, looking to raise money, looking to build businesses, looking to scale businesses internationally, globally, locally, you name it.
Sure.
What are some of the obstacles and challenges that you faced on the way that you can advise others to steer away from, even though they will still face obstacles and challenges?
So there's a lot of different obstacles. Number one, with fundraising.
I think that's a major one.
It's a major one, but I think it actually comes down to the business and the fundamentals anyway.
Yeah.
And the networking. So if you're doing good networking and you know how to meet investors, then the next step is really pitching to the investors. To pitch to investors, you've really got to have everything planned. You don't want to let them run the meeting. That was something I made a mistake of the first time. It was a 2-minute meeting. I went all the way out in San Francisco to Silicon Valley.
Yeah. 2
hours, had a 2-minute meeting with this top venture capital fund, like one of the most respected VC funds in the world. 2.5-minute meeting, they said goodbye.
Wow.
Literally. I was like, oh shit. And that's when I realised I probably had to fix up my pitching skills.
Yeah.
You know, it's about having a story from start to finish that's compelling about you, about the business, about where it's headed. And I think I was treating it too much like a game.
Okay.
You're running a business, you know.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing.
Tell me more about about the game part. How are we treating it like a game?
I really didn't know what I was doing. Like, I just got into 500 startups, just sucked into the Silicon Valley hype. It is a game out there. It is.
I think life is.
And I think what makes or breaks, especially over there, is if you can prove that you're serious about it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a soft skill. I'm not sure if I can actually quantify it into words about how you can make sure that you can prove that this is actually going to be your thing. But that would be my number one piece of advice. You know, prove that you're serious about it. Prove that it has massive growth potential. How you're going to get there. Why you're the best person to do it. You have to be the best person. Your team, you know, your advisors. You have to have everything in place. Prove that you know your shit. And yeah, I just didn't. But to be fair, that's also because I was pitching too early. Okay. So I think, you know, raise as late as you can. Raise if your business is doing, you know, the closer you can get to $1 million a year, I would say, then you can raise under your terms or whatever. Or if you really want to raise, you know, from angels, raise from a couple of angels. Don't go pitching to venture capitalists. That'd be my first piece of advice. The second one is probably to do with sales and pricing models. So we spend a lot of time focusing on the wrong kind of wrong sales model to suit our pricing. We were doing a full-on sales email-based phone call campaign for $50 projects.
Yeah.
Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Whereas in my previous business, that was full marketing, you know, similar price point, but no one ever got on the phone, ever. Worst case would be like an email, but really we'd just refer someone to the website and just say, you know, follow the instructions. It wasn't worth our time. With Speedlancer, I made the mistake of thinking, you know, we need to go too high touch. To be fair, we were small and I was trying to accelerate, but I should have spent more time focusing on the model and making sure it's not only bigger projects, and now we have bundles, which are like $500 projects, and then making sure it's recurring revenue. So we call that our concierge plan.
Yeah.
Which adds value to the customer, definitely, and helps us ensure we can focus on the customers and not spend too much time on a sales process that's never going to actually impact the bottom line. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
So that would be my advice for, well, obstacles that we faced and got around.
So don't go too early. Try and grind that out as long as you can and try and get close to that million as close as possible for as long as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Then you sort of control the terms.
Yeah.
And then you might get much better offers and you're more in control.
Yeah, and you'll feel more confident about the business. You'll know more about it. You know, I don't think there's a problem with spending 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it takes to get to $1 million a year.
It is a journey. Some people.
It's a journey. I mean, we're still not at $1 million, but
exactly.
So I think that's probably the number one piece of advice. $1 million might be too high. You might want to have different milestones. So, you know, to get to 100K and then to get to 500K and then to get $1 million. But either way, raise as late as you can and as, I'm not going to say as little as you can, but raise an appropriate amount corresponding to your milestones.
Okay.
If you need to raise. Yeah.
Awesome. So we've spoken about obstacles and challenges. The industry is constantly evolving and changing from fundraising to the technologies that have been implemented and basically coming through the ranks. to the individuals involved in the space. Especially in Australia, it's really changing, I think, by the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's moving really, really quickly, and things are really advancing. Where do you see the industry heading in Australia and also globally?
The startup industry?
Yeah, startup industry.
Yeah, I think in Australia, like a few years ago when I was going out to fundraise, there was really no one to pitch to be honest.
Yeah.
But a year or two after that, so we're talking 1 or 2 years ago, everything's changed. We managed to raise our seed round from Aussie investors mainly, actually, at a pretty compelling kind of US terms. They invested in a US company. So that was good. I mean, I see the landscape changing a lot. I'm not sure specifically, like, the last year I've been pretty hardcore just focusing on what I'm doing and also travelling. So I've been to Israel, I've been to Berlin, and I think, the startup scenes there are very different than here. Not necessarily better or worse. Like in Tel Aviv, everyone who launches their company will actually go over to the US as soon as they've raised. And then they'll launch an R&D team back in Israel. But that I don't know about that approach. I don't think we can actually learn a lot of lessons from that because their lesson is go to the US, raise,
come back,
a small office.
Yeah.
Which is maybe the way Australia is headed. I'm not sure. Australia at least has a little bit more of a market here, but I think fundamentally you still have to expand, so that's probably a good lesson. Berlin, it's definitely getting very exciting out there. And San Francisco, I haven't been there for 2 years. Just about to go back in a few weeks, hopefully. And I'm moving to Brisbane on Thursday.
Wow.
Because the Queensland government has a $460 million innovation fund and a program called Hot Desk, which I'm excited to be a part of. And Hot Desk is a Queensland government initiative which aims to get interstate entrepreneurs into Queensland. Gives them equity-free funding, like a grant, and you have to mentor and add value to the ecosystem. So I think the world, and especially Australia, is slowly but surely catching up. I think founders shouldn't spend too much time in the startup scene anyway. I think, again, it's not a game, it's actually a business. You're doing it for the right reasons, not because you want to get amongst the startup scene. Although that's why I started Speedlancer, just so I would have something to pitch at these events. So I've learnt a lot, but I think, come into these events knowing what you want to get out of them. I don't know, and an ecosystem, go in, know what you want to take out and add value into the ecosystem. I don't think an ecosystem is going to make or break every company.
Do you think there's too many people or too many startup founders just coming up with great ideas but actually not built on businesses or on business models that are going to generate revenue?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you see a bunch of apps that are like that. But then again, you get some like Snapchat, which are breakout successes. So what do I know?
they're having a bit of difficulty meeting quarterly targets and so on at the moment. But I'm still
totally
understand.
I think there's like a 50% chance that they'll work out.
Yeah.
But if they work out, I think there's still probably 5-10x room for growth in there.
I think they've got to nail their advertising. If they can sort of nail that,
exactly.
They'll have a heap of success.
Yeah, that's why I bought shares.
Awesome. Okay. There's many people right now, as we mentioned earlier, in the space with a whole heap of ideas, and they're looking to become successful entrepreneurs and so on, and raise funds and so on. What tips and advice can you give them along the way?
Again, focus on the business model, I would say. If you're looking to make an app, have something that's super engaging like Snapchat, just focus on that one thing. Like they had, I think their users spend, I'm just making this up, but something like 30 minutes a day on the app. That's worth something.
I think between 14 to 25, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
That age gap there, and that's why right now they're having a lot of success with that. And actually, one of the case studies was actually McDonald's.
Yeah.
They ran a whole employment campaign on there because look, mostly
that's amazing.
Most of the McDonald's staff are usually between the age of 16, I should say 14 to like 18.
I worked at Mac's when I was 15.
There you go.
Yeah.
So they had a very successful campaign, and McDonald's is having a lot of success on Snapchat because of that demographics.
So fascinating.
Just an example to sort of give like a clear idea of how things are currently working. So
I think if you're more on the app kind of side of things, you can afford to make it free because you will eventually be able to capitalize on those eyeballs. On the other side of the spectrum, if you're going for sales, it has to be, high value.
Yeah. It has to be a pain point, eh?
It has to be a pain point, but you have to solve that and be able to charge an arm and a leg for it.
As your father once said to me, it's got to be, it can't be a multivitamin because people take them one day and then they forget about it. It's got to be medicine that people need.
Yeah.
So.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I think that's all about the price point again. If you can justify charging a high price for something, probably means you've got a really strong product, really strong demand for it, and you're probably helping people out. And it probably is more likely to be a medicine.
Yeah.
Because they're willing to pay for it and they're willing to put it on subscription.
Absolutely.
That's the ultimate. That's when you know you've hit something. In the middle is kind of marketing, that side of things. Again, I've done that before. It was more successful than this one, at least at the current time.
For the time being.
For the time being, like that had limited growth potential, absolutely. So this will be bigger.
Yeah.
But you again, the pricing, marketing. So the whole business model focusing somewhere in that not timeline but price and marketing. The second piece of advice would be to probably network. But when you've had too much networking. Network, is not who you know. I mean, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
And I would say hire, but hire clever. I wouldn't go out and make a lot of hires. I would go out and make a few. At least in the beginning, I would actually outsource.
Yeah.
That would be my next piece of advice.
Yeah.
I think it's very undertapped, and I don't know why. Obviously, I'm in that market, so I would.
I think I've got a reason why. Because previously, before you guys came along, it wasn't as reliable. Like I have to be honest. Like sometimes I'd outsource projects to people. They come back with a template that they use for every single other customer. It's got no relevance at all to what you're trying to do. So that's why I think people have sort of given up a bit on that. But from what we're hearing today, there's a new solution.
Yeah, that's it.
Speedlancer.
Thanks.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there any more? You can give us?
No, but I would say hire a lot of freelancers for everything. Use it for everything. You need a personal assistant, so get one of them. They'll do operations and customer support. You need marketing. You need content. Go do that. You shouldn't be doing things yourself.
Yeah.
That'll be my next piece of advice. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Adam. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Just quickly before we let you go, where can we find you on social media?
At Stone Adam on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's the main one. Or at Speedlancer HQ for Speedlancer, or my email adam@speedlancer.com.
No worries. I'll have those links in the summary below. Thank you very much.
Cool. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.